I'm at 800. You're at 2,000. The me in the middle is not even. It's still. I'm still getting beat in the head if I meet in the middle. So, what's your favorite fish?
Tilapia. What?
I got
Very
this.
true.
I got this down for 400, and I'm sure people are like, exactly. See, look at her face. Her face is like, you overpaid. Right. At some point in my life, I had no consideration of ever traveling to Africa, and we're trying to find a place to sit. And no lie to you, there were 4 people following us. Don't let the Uber drivers tell you where to go. So I didn't like that. I was kind of followed sometimes. And I don't think I waited for a business meeting, by the way, for over 5 hours.
Yeah. That happens
And
here a lot.
it's common.
It's common. In fact, if you get mad, you're the one who has a problem.
Exactly. So exactly what she said. Without him was sometimes difficult because sometimes people would follow me. Like men and women would literally follow me.
Oh, because you're vlogging?
No, there are no cars. They're just 2 people on a chair and 2 barrels.
Yeah.
And they stop you and they just look at everyone inside the vehicle. And I was told, don't open your mouth because if I open my mouth, they're gonna ask for a bribe because they're gonna hear my American accent.
Yes.
So they'll be like, "How you doing tonight?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I just like don't try to say words because if I say words,
Yeah, they'll definitely.
if there's a price, it's gonna go up.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a price, we're gonna smooth.
Yeah.
And I would say in Kenya, I haven't experienced that.
Where have you been where you're like interacting with the police and you're anxious apart from
America.
What about Ghana? I've heard a lot of good things about Ghana.
Man, Ghana's overhyped to me. Nice condos and stuff being built, apartment buildings, houses.
Yeah.
The roads are horrible.
But not the way you
I try not to talk as much when I'm by myself, but I think they could.
They forced the service on you.
Yeah. There was one person I was with. I was literally on the date, on the beach with this girl that I met on the plane from UK, where we could sit, so then they can then offer us some type of service.
Yeah.
This is at night. This is like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So we're trying to have a little date, and like I'm being stalked.
Have you tried Kenyan food?
I'm not a fan. I'm gonna keep it real. However,
what's up, Esquad? Today we are honored again. We are honored again. I mean, we need to be called the blessed, right? Esquad, we need to be called the blessed. Today we are honored again to interview one of the Caribbean people who is visiting here in Kenya. And you see, like Jamaica, we call them Jamaicans. Kenya, we call them Kenyans. What about Trinidad? Do you call them Trinidadians or what? And I can Google it, but I know you can also tell me. I don't want to Google it because I want you to tell me. So for Trinidad, do we call them Trinidadians or Trini what? Tell me in the comment section. So we are honored today to interview a Trinidadian here. A Trinidadian here in Kenya. And hey, God is good. God is good. And we're also celebrating 1.5K subscribers. We need to hit that watch hours. We need to. Let us go and meet him. The background is going to change. Let's go and meet him. You see, when you have a guest in your house, you do as they say, okay? So my guest was like, Anne, I want to sit and feel comfortable. And I was like, I love standing, but you want to sit? Okay, let's do it. In Caribbean, who visits Kenya? I'm like, you know what? We're going to be a jam rock. We're going to taste that food because I know how it tastes. So we have music in the background, but we're elsewhere. We're meeting there. So we're going to go and have a chit chat with the Trinidadian. Yeah, so let's see what he has to say about Kenya. Okay. That's him. So guys, this is him. I won't even say his name. I won't say his name. Though he has visited Kenya, has a YouTube channel, which I'm going, of course, to link it below. But I want him to give us a short introduction of him. Please go ahead.
All right. So my name is Trini. For Vlog Tripping. Vlog Tripping is a review and travel vlog YouTube page, YouTube channel, I should say. This is my 3rd visit to Kenya. Second for this year, for 2024. Last time I visited was in 2023. And, so far I love it. I think I am going to make it a 3rd trip for this year. That's pretty much it, what I got so far.
Okay. Wow, that's good. We need to know, why are you coming back to Kenya again and again and again and again?
All right. So some people ask me this question a lot.
Yeah.
And I broke it down into Three things. Hopefully, I remember each of the things.
Okay.
So, thank Asante. So, the main thing will be convenience. And the main convenience for me is also to travel here. The second convenience I think will be for everyone will be that you guys are a cashless society.
Okay.
So being that I can use M-Pesa,
Yeah.
and I use this app called Remitly, which anyone can get,
Yeah.
which allows me to transfer money from the U.S. from my U.S. bank account
To M-Pesa.
directly.
Yes.
Correct. And it's minimum fees, and it's usually a favorable exchange rate, and meaning that I can take out money as I go. So I think maybe I have maybe my balance right now is maybe 10,000 shillings, and I'm flying out
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's more than enough between today and tomorrow.
Yes.
And I can take it as I need. So maybe on average, I transfer maybe $150 US
Yeah.
every 3 days, maybe. And that's depending on how much I spend on entertainment, travel,
Yeah.
and things like that. The second thing would be safety. Kenya, I've traveled last year, I've been to 11 countries,
Okay.
including Kenya. Nairobi, I would say, my personal experience is one of the safest countries I've been in.
Okay.
Probably Thailand might be safer, but I haven't experienced any issues with anyone.
Okay.
Any Kenyan. Well, I did have one issue with a Kenyan customs agent, but we could roll back to that.
Okay.
But 90% of the trip, I have no issue with any person, people.
Yeah.
I'm a person who doesn't like crowded spaces,
Okay.
and I visited CBD a couple times, and CBD can get really crowded. And being from America, being from the West, I'm not used to seeing hundreds of people in the street at the same time. And I'm a person who doesn't like large crowds. Like even if I go to a concert, I want to be a VIP.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't like when there's too many people. And I've also been raised in New York. And in New York, we kind of analyze everyone, especially for a man. You analyze a guy over there, the guy over there, the guy in the shadows. We want to know what everyone is doing because we're always in a heightened sense of situational awareness.
Why are you analyzing everyone?
It's more of a safety issue.
Oh.
You know, being as a man, like if I'm with someone, if I'm with a group of women, or if I'm with a girl in particular, if I'm with a date, you know, I'm always scanning the room for dangers. I always want to protect, you know, her,
Yeah.
and obviously protect myself when I'm
Yeah.
alone in a foreign country because, you know, I love Kenya. Don't get me wrong, and I could be honorary Kenyan all I
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
but I'm still considered a foreigner. So I still,
Are you telling me like you're scanning the room so that you can protect the women there and yourself?
well, protecting the women that I'm with,
Yeah.
I can't protect all the women.
Okay.
But yes, if you come somewhere with me, yes, I consider you under my protection. So even you right now,
Yeah.
I'm always scared to see if anything's gonna happen to you.
Yes.
And obviously something happens to me.
Yeah.
But that'd be my first thing would be to scan.
Instinct, yeah.
Yeah, would be to do that. And I think it's mainly me growing up in New York,
Yeah.
being that we always have
You
I know-
automatically do that without
yeah, that's me being any country. So
Yeah.
it's not for Kenya specifically. It's for any country I go to.
Okay.
And being a foreigner, I think you also need to have a little bit more situational awareness than everyone else because you don't know the area.
Yeah.
Like this is the second time I'm in this place, so I'm a little bit more comfortable than I was if I came here the first time. So, but in essence,
Yeah.
Kenya is safe. Like I said, it's one of the safest countries I've ever been to. So I don't feel any type of way of, I don't feel like my life is in danger. I don't feel my life is close to being in danger.
Yeah.
In America, when we see police, especially being as a black person, a person of color, you know, to me, my interaction with police, for the most part, I've never been in any, you know, legal issues or legal
Yeah.
troubles. However, there is a sense of anxiety when I deal with police officers.
Okay.
There is a sense of, this is only in America, not talking about Kenya.
Yeah.
So it's a sense of this can go bad if I don't do the right things, if I don't observe the right protocols.
Yeah.
In Kenya, I've seen police officers, I've seen military personnel with huge assault rifles, and I feel absolutely nothing. No fear, no anxiety. And the police security people here always acknowledge me. They say hi, they give me a salute.
Yeah.
They don't stare at me, they give me a friendly face. So I have no anxiety dealing with any law enforcement here, except the customs agent. We will get back to that. But on the main everyday day-to-day versus everyday day-to-day interactions
Yeah.
with Kenyans or anyone here, and even other foreigners, you know, military personnel, security, police, I've had no issues with.
Okay, where have you been where you're like interacting with the police and you're anxious apart from
Oh, America.
America
America for
only?
sure.
Oh,
America, for the last 11 countries, America is the most, I would say, as being a black person, the most racist country I've ever been to.
yeah.
I'm just coming from American citizen. You know, it's the most racist country I've been to so far.
Yeah.
Um, I think I've been to over maybe 30 countries. I think I don't like to country count because I think that's kind of what's the word? What am I looking for? That's kind of
Really? And the
it's kind of boastful. Like I think that's like I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get the word for it. But I think
Okay.
it's kind of weird
Yeah.
to country count. I think that's weird. And the only reason I mentioned 11 countries because I want to show you guys that you know Kenya is one of the safest out of those 11. Um, so I would say safety definitely. I don't feel any issues. You know, I could walk the street. I think last night I came home at 5 a.m. You know, I walk from the club to my house. So it's like, you know, I see a group of guys, you know, I wave to them. You know, the occasional, I might get someone who asks me for some money. You know, I might get the, what's up, bro? You know, bro,
Yeah.
I'm hungry. But that's the main issues I would say that you would deal with as a foreigner coming from the States would be
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. So you said like it's
Oh,
very yes.
I got one more. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's safety. Oh, the third one is nightlife. Easily, I would say one of the best nightlifes. I would say it rivals New York and Atlanta, but safer and a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So meaning that you could find a party, you could find an event, you could find people to talk to, other Kenyans, other foreigners, and you will meet people and have a good time.
Yeah.
Like I think table sharing is
Common.
it's common here.
Yeah, it is.
So even just now I came from a brunch and I shared it with two women that I have not met before, and it was cool. It was a
Okay.
great interaction. We exchanged phone numbers even, and I think if you come here with the frame of mind of having a good time, everyone else is in unison with you. We just here to have a good time. So I bumped into people, people stepped on my shoes, and you know, and coming from New York or coming from the West,
Yeah.
you know, that could be almost a confrontational moment. Here is nothing. You know, guys pass by to touch a shoulder. You know, no one pushes you. Or if they say, "Excuse me," "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to push you so hard." People are very polite. People are very friendly, and everyone's here trying to. For the most part, I've experienced everyone's here is on the same level. We trying to have a good time. You know, we see you, brother. You know, we see you, sister, and we're just here to hang out. So those three things I would say: safety, convenience, and nightlife.
And nightlife.
Yes,
Have you been to Uganda?
have not, and I've heard Uganda's on my list. And you're Kenyan, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm
you're telling me
Kenyan.
to go Uganda.
Yeah.
I've met some Ugandan people here, and they tell me that Ugandan nightlife is better
Yeah.
than Kenyan
Then
nightlife.
Kenya.
So I think last night I left at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
at a club. So I think that's commonplace. Some of the people I met in Kenya, they say, "Yo, we left the club at 7 a.m." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, people
You know?
do.
It's come from West Indian too. So we have like breakfast parties and parties that go to the morning. They top us. It's crazy.
Wow.
So I heard Uganda's even better. So next visit, I plan on coming to Kenya again. I'm definitely gonna take a flight to
To
Uganda.
Uganda. I hear like the Ugandan nightlife. Whoo, it's 100 times. And you know, and you see Ugandans, they really seem to be conserved compared to not conserved, reserved compared to Kenyans. But where I have their nightlife is just on another level compared. And I'm like, the way Kenyans party? Are you telling me Ugandans are much better than us? Anyway, that's
That's
something I was also really
that's the
want to.
consensus, and I will definitely find that out
Yeah.
and give a review on it for sure.
I've had a friend of mine, a Kenyan YouTuber, who has gone to Uganda, and she's like, "Where? Anne, you need to go to Uganda and experience their nightlife. It is totally on a different level." So yes, that's good to know. You were talking about the convenience of coming to Kenya. What
Yes.
exactly do you mean by that?
Main thing is M-Pesa. I think this being a cashless society, I don't have to worry about working with cash. I literally leave my house with my cell phone.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
No one has ever asked me for ID. I don't know if they should or not. You guys most places are very secure, have good security. First, I would say kind security, respectful security. And if you just follow what they ask you, no one's going to escalate it to a point where you feel intrusive at all. So I would say my interaction with security has been 100% pleasant. So basically, I leave the house with just my cell phone.
Wow.
So with M-Pesa in the States, I would need my wallet.
Yeah.
I would need ID.
Yeah.
You know, like
Really?
yeah, because if police and unfortunately because the color of my skin, I'm more likely to get pulled over or more likely to get stopped on the street and ask for ID.
Okay.
You know, and then if you don't have ID, literally the police can, I wouldn't say arrest you, but they could, what's what I'm looking for? They can hold you basically to wait till they identify who you
Who
are.
you are.
Right. I
So
thought
every
there's a
time
right
you're
term
out of
for
the
it.
house, you have to have your ID.
As a black person, I believe yes. Maybe of other color persuasion, and I'm sorry if you feel this way, but in America, as a black person, you cannot go anywhere and not have an ID on you. You're automatically going to be, you know, held until they figure out who you are.
Who you
And
are.
you don't have to be doing anything wrong. Just like, well, we don't know who you are, so you know, we're just gonna have put you in handcuffs and hold you till we figure it out. So I would say, being that Kenya is cashless,
Yeah.
and it's not just a demand for ID. Like,
Yes.
for instance, in Thailand, and
Yeah.
this one time in Thailand,
Yeah.
I've had Thai police stop me and ask me for my passport. And in Thailand, you're kind of taught to have a picture of your visa in your phone. So Thailand kind of similar. They mostly could be cashless also,
Yeah.
but you know, you might get a random visa check, and because we look so different from
Yeah.
Thai people,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, be like, they could point, be like, hey, let me see your visa. So I would say here the convenience of just be able to transfer money and be cashless, and then I could transfer like I transfer as much as I need. So if I need $50 US, I'll just transfer $50 US. So there's no worrying about I can't change the money back if I have too much shillings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for me that travel here all the time, you know, a couple of shillings won't hurt.
So you, when you have like the money in your M-Pesa, you can transfer it back to your US account.
I think I can, but I think I'll do it at a loss. But because I can do it incrementally every 3 days, I only take what I need. So I would never have too much.
Okay.
You know, if I have leftover, then I'm coming back, no big deal.
Yeah. Okay, so you've said like in Thailand, they ask you for maybe the if you have a
Picture of your visa page.
Can you have your picture of your passport in the US and show them?
In the US, I think it may be in certain, I know for a fact in New York,
Yeah.
I know that police are not allowed to ask for immigration status. So you don't have to walk around with a passport, but you need some type of ID. It could be a foreign ID, it could be a local state ID, it could be a driver's license. But usually people, and sad to say, most Americans that I've encountered at least don't have their passports anyway.
Okay.
So their state ID will be their primary ID.
Okay, and can you have a picture of your ID? Will it work?
In certain states, in Georgia, I know they're working on getting a digital ID.
Okay.
But for most states, I believe that for police purposes and identification purposes, you need a physical picture ID.
Okay, that's interesting. So you've said good things about Kenya concerning the safety, convenience, how people are treating you, which is good.
Yes.
And it's also encouraging a lot of people to come because, you know, interacting with a lot of people who are visiting Kenya, they're being told bad things about Africa, the way we are hungry, the way we are poor, we have a lot of diseases everywhere. Is that true?
So I would say 100% correct.
What?
And the reason why, because Western media is global. You know, unfortunately, you know, U.S. media dictates the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So
And it will always be like that.
like even growing up in Trinidad. So just to let you guys know, I am a Caribbean American. So I grew up in Trinidad and I have immigrated to the US and became a naturalized citizen.
Yeah.
So about half and half my teen years, well, adolescent years, I should say, was between Trinidad and America. So, but I'm more American than Trinity, unfortunately. Well, depending on how you look at it, I'm more American than Trinidadian. But I say that because even growing up in Trinidad, we consume the same media that I've consumed when I moved to America. So I was watching the same shows, the same cable networks, the same news. And I said it because in the West, in America specifically, they kind of show like I don't know if you're familiar with Biafra and what's I forgot the other country. I think Nigeria. Like they had that war, and you see all these kids with big stomachs and flies on their face. And growing up, we used to see those commercials. send money to Africa.
Yeah.
It didn't even say what country it was going to.
Yes.
It was like
Yeah.
feed Africa. Africa
Yes.
needs food. Then the whole Nelson Mandela thing. So I would say most Westerners, what we're exposed to, if we don't research ourselves,
Yes.
is that image of everyone in Africa is poor,
Yeah.
or like a movie like Shaka Zulu.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah.
it's like, well, they live in huts. They ride elephants all day. They don't have electricity. It's really silly, and not for nothing. I would say I was also exposed to this. So for a short period of time,
Yeah.
I believe that also. And a person that travels, I travel a lot.
Yeah.
At some point in my life, I had no consideration of ever traveling to Africa, because like, what's there?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, it took me going to Thailand. And I'm a person, unfortunately, well, it depends how you look at it. I went to Thailand. I stayed for time for 9 months, and I went to Thailand just basically to get away from the States for a while.
Yeah.
And wherever I travel, I date. Let people know that straight up and down. I date women across the world. And unfortunately, Thai women don't really align with what I'm looking for. And I saw all these black women from all across the globe, from UK.
In Thailand.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised to see. I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah.
And from South Africa, from Ghana, from Kenya, from Uganda, from Ethiopia. I met all these different types of melanin women in Thailand. And actually, that started my curiosity, because when I spoke to them, I found out we have a lot in common, and I was miseducated and ignorant to what's in the continent.
Yes.
So because of that, that led me to take my first trip to Ghana, to Kenya, to Egypt,
Yeah.
and I kind of really taken a liking to Kenya.
Oh wow, that's interesting, you guys. So is it like the things that they're telling you back there at home concerning Africa? Is it true?
Well, first, it's sad to say this also. Most people can't differentiate the countries.
So sad.
So they
sad.
think, literally, I would say
They think
maybe
Africa is one country.
maybe 6 out of 10 Americans, and I'm just making this up. But I would say, you ask them about Africa, they think it's one place.
Yes.
They don't know about different
They
countries.
know nothing about us. Nothing.
And it kind of shows that maybe the countries need to do a better marketing program, like a better PR.
Yes.
And
Ourselves.
do some marketing to what you guys have here, because you can't leave it to the West.
Yeah.
They're just gonna put, don't go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna put these, everyone is starving, everyone's uneducated.
Yeah.
It's a third world country. All these silly things that don't really mean much until you actually get here. And my eyes have been opened completely to a point where
Yeah.
I'm actually considering Kenya as a place for relocation.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Concerning relocation, do you think like this is a place you can come and stay and invest and just settle here and retire here?
Retire, yes. Investment, I don't know. I'm still doing my analysis of what the ROI. I don't know how the market is.
Yeah.
And I just stayed in Thailand for 9 months, and I realized in Thailand,
You were in Thailand for 9 months.
9 months. This was last year.
Did you get to learn their language?
No. See, that's a good thing about Thailand is there is a language barrier, but to operate on a daily basis, to be practical, you don't need, everyone speaks English.
Okay.
You don't, to go to the store, to get to go to a doctor, to buy stuff,
Yeah.
to go to electronics, to go to the mall, everyone speaks English. And the reason I bring up Thailand, because Thailand, you're not allowed to purchase land as a foreigner, but you can purchase not condos, co-ops. You can purchase co-ops.
What's that?
Co-ops is like something like a apartment, right?
Okay.
But you only own shares of it. You don't own the physical building. You don't own the physical land.
Yeah, you can own like a unit of it.
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
And the issue with that is that since you can't own it, how's it attractive for you to sell it?
Yeah.
And the problem I saw was people were hard to sell. So my thing,
People had to sell.
I mean, the apartments are hard to sell.
Okay.
So
okay.
if you have a unit, it may take a while for someone to buy it, because there's no return on investment.
Yeah.
from what I've noticed that the price doesn't go up enough for you to buy something and sell it back for a profit.
Yeah.
So usually people sell at a loss. And then with Thailand, maybe, and I think what may be happening here is that because of Airbnb, certain areas get popular. So like I heard that Kilimani was popular. Now it's not so much. I know Westland where I'm staying is pretty popular.
Yes.
What's the other ones that are popular that you may have heard?
Karen.
Karen is definitely popular. Karen's kind of like if you're if it's someone that's traveling, I think Karen's a little bit far out.
Yeah.
But then Uber is not expensive as a foreigner, so that might not bother you. But so in Thailand, it's kind of similar. It's like they build these nice complexes,
Okay.
but the building becomes not as popular because people kind of move around to the next new building that's coming up. So this building's coming up called Coca Cabana, and it has a 2 times bigger swimming pool than the last one.
Okay.
It has a bigger gym.
So people move to the most recent.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's where your clients are gonna want to. If you're doing Airbnb, if you're trying to return on investment, right? You're gonna go to the newer condos because they're gonna have better amenities, newer walls.
Yeah.
You know, the older condos arguably may be bigger, so that may be you get the. But then after your newer condos has the newer shower head, it has the newer kitchen. So it's
swimming pool.
right.
Yeah.
So to me, when what I assess it as, and I have history in being a real estate agent, is that it's just kind of flat.
Okay.
So would you want to invest it unless you're personally moving there and you're already in retirement mode? And I'm still a couple of years from that.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as something you could buy to sell to make a profit.
Okay.
Maybe you could Airbnb it, but I believe that's also oversaturated. So if you're not in a popular area, you're in a year or so, you might not get as much people because the next area is going to be popping.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to flock to that area.
Wow. Let me just confirm something. Yes, it is. So you said you might want to retire here in Kenya, and yet you've been in different countries in Africa. Why Kenya, not Ghana, and not Egypt?
Man, well, Egypt, I'll be honest, I stayed on a layover.
Yeah.
But Egypt was never really in consideration.
Okay. What
Um,
about Ghana? I've heard a lot of good things about Ghana.
man, Ghana's overhyped to me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen Ghana really being hyped on YouTube.
Yeah, I think the whole year of return thing, and that's what I think Kenya needs.
Uh-huh.
We need a marketing gimmick. Not saying it's a bad thing,
Yeah.
because I know the year of return is based on. I don't know if you've ever been to the. I have a video one going to the Cape Coast Castle, where kind of like where they took a lot of the slaves and sent it to various part of Americas, including my homeland,
Yeah.
including places in America, in North America, in the U.S., which is now known. So when they say the year of return, is like, listen, Ghana admits that it had some part in the transatlantic slave trade. So they're
Okay.
saying, listen, come back home. This is
Yeah,
your home. Come
this
back
is your
home,
home.
and become a citizen. I think they made it easier process to become a citizen, and basically,
Ghana.
repatriate. But in that same thing, the prices has gone ridiculously up.
Yeah.
And I found Ghana very, I mean, not as expensive as the US, but definitely more expensive than Thailand, definitely more expensive than Kenya. And for what it is, it's not that much developed than Kenya. And similar to Kenya, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like the government does not invest in infrastructure. It's all done by private.
In Ghana?
In Ghana.
Okay.
In Ghana, y'all could get at me in the comments, but as far as when I was there, there's something called the George Bush Highway. George Bush has a highway in Ghana, and it was not made by the Ghana government. All right, it was made
by who?
a private company.
Okay.
And for us told from the Ghanaians there is that private companies build the infrastructure, builds the roads, not the government.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, that may be the same thing here, because to me, like Kenya, I don't see the roads being built by the government. I don't see the infrastructure built by the government. So I think that's something in Ghana that I didn't like.
Okay.
So even though you're hearing all these nice condos and stuff being built, apartment buildings, houses, the roads are horrible. So how you get there is not going to be good. The internet is not as good as it should be. I would say Kenya's internet and Kenya's Wi-Fi, not say Wi-Fi, mobile network is better than Ghana in my experience. In Ghana, they have something called this. You need this some type of, I don't know if it's the right word, some type of Ghana ID
Okay.
to even get a cell phone service. So I couldn't use my
really?
passport. I went.
Yeah.
I think the cell phone service is MTN, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
And I had to have my Ghanaian friend basically rent me a SIM card.
Yeah.
So I could have internet access. Where compared to Kenya, you get off the plane, you go to Safaricom right there, you get your M-Pesa,
Yeah.
and you get your cell phone service right there on the spot.
Yes.
And I think Ghana's trying to track everyone with the ID. I know it's like a new system that they're rolling out, so that turned me off.
Okay.
And then also as being as a foreigner, um, compared to other countries in Ghana, I kind
Yeah.
of stood out a little bit, and not in a good way.
Stood out how?
Well, so let's say I'm driving a car,
Yeah.
right? And there's people all over, and there'll be a guy trying to guide me, like like he's landing a damn plane. He's gonna try to guide me into the parking spot, and then when I park, he's gonna ask me for SETI. You know what I mean?
What's that?
Which is their shilling, their dollar.
Okay,
So he's
yeah.
gonna ask me for money
Yeah.
to help for helping me park that I never
Yeah.
asked for. And then in Ghana also, I know corruption is a worldwide thing, and to me, corruption is a symptom of being colonized by Europeans. So even in my country, Trinidad, there's corruption. Even in America, there's corruption, but
Yeah.
even in Thailand, there's corruption. But there's different levels of different access. But in Ghana, I've seen like they have these checkpoints at night. Now there are no cars. There's just two people on a chair and two barrels.
Yeah.
And they stop you and they just look at everyone inside the vehicle. And I was told, don't open your mouth, because if I open my mouth, they're gonna ask for a bribe because they're gonna hear my American accent.
Yes.
So they'll be like, "How you doing tonight?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I just like don't try to say words because if I say words,
Yeah. They'll definitely.
if there's a price, it's gonna go up.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a price, we're gonna smooth."
Yeah.
And I would say in Kenya, I haven't experienced that. So all that's what turned off. And not saying Ghana's not a great place. I'm just stating my experience in
Yes.
Ghana. And also, I went also Ghana solo. I did have a guide. Shout out to my guide.
Yeah.
But he wasn't with me all the time. So when I was trying to navigate Ghana without him was sometimes difficult because sometimes people would follow me. Like men and women would literally follow me.
Oh, because you're vlogging?
No, just because they sense that I'm a foreigner.
By the way you talk, but not the way you
I
do?
try not to talk as much when I'm by myself, but I think they can tell by my clothes, they can tell by my skin, they can tell by my haircut. I think there's obvious tells.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even if someone from comes to America, like we could tell, that's not American clothes, like that's not American sneakers. We can kind of
Yeah.
guess that you're not from around here. So I think they sniff that out. They could smell the American on me. So I didn't like that. I was kind of followed sometimes, and I don't think I was. It wasn't really danger. I just felt like they were trying to see if I would give them money for something, or they will offer some type of service that I don't want.
Yeah. They
And-
forced the service on you?
Yeah, yeah. And there was one person I was with. I was literally on a date on the beach with this girl that I met on the plane from UK, and she's also black like me.
Yeah.
And literally, we're on the beach and we're trying to find a place to sit. And no lie to you, there were 4 people following us to sign up where we could sit, so then they can then offer us some type of service.
Yeah.
This is at night. This is like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So we're trying to have a little date, and like I'm being stalked. So that kind of turned me off.
Okay.
And like I said, maybe that's just my experience, may not be everyone's experience. I know everyone loves Dirty December, and I'm not going Dirty December because it's too damn expensive. I'm not doing it. However, if someone wants to offer a true Ghanaian family experience, like I want to stay with someone from Ghana to get the
Yeah.
true experience. I think
Yes.
as a foreigner, I was just trying to navigate it on my own,
Yeah.
and that's why maybe I've experienced some difficulties. I mean, it's still a good place. It's still a good trip. I went
Yeah.
to the slave castles. I went to all the monuments. I went to the Black Star. I went to the Makola Market. It's a video on my YouTube channel. So I had a great time.
Yeah.
But compared to Kenya, like Kenya wins hands down.
Okay. Okay, considering for me, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been interacting with a lot of people who are just visiting Kenya. I don't think here we can tell a foreigner by just how they look and their dressing. Nah. Unless we hear your accent, you're just like everyone else because the skin color is the same, the clothes are the same. So I don't think that's here in Kenya. And did someone force you to have this
No,
bracelet?
no, because when I
And it looks really good, like the quality, and then it's like double. Yeah,
yeah.
it's really good quality.
So I'm a person who wears like this is actually from my country, from Trinidad. These are beads, and I find a lot of similarities between culture of Trinidadians and culture of Kenyans. Being that I think in Trinidad we acknowledge that we're from Africa, but we don't know what particular tribe. So
Yeah.
sometimes we consider ourselves the lost tribe. We don't know
The
what.
lost tribe.
Yeah, because we don't know what tribe we like. You, I don't know if you could probably tell. You could probably tell what tribe you know already.
Yeah.
What tribe you're from? I think
Yes.
most Kenyans know.
Yeah.
And I think there's what 45 tribes in Kenya
Yeah.
alone.
42.
42. So it's
Yeah.
42 tribes, and I think there's 55 in Nigeria, and I don't know how much is in Ghana. But it's like when you come to the continent, people know what tribes they're from.
Yes.
So as being people that are victim of the transatlantic slave trade, we know that we're from Africa. And from going to the slave castle in Ghana, I could tell that they took slaves from Ghana and shipped them to Trinidad and Tobago. But they also took slaves from everywhere. So it's not just Ghana, it's not just Nigeria.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we don't
From
know.
all over Africa.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we don't know what.
From which country, what tribe?
I mean, we could do DNA testing, but we still don't know. We still have to do more. We have to do a lot of research
Yes.
to find out what
Yes.
tribe we belong to.
There's this American actor. I don't know what his name is. I've forgotten his name. Like he really tried to do the research, and he came to know that he's from Ghana. I don't know his name. He has a
Yeah.
really pretty wife. I don't know.
He
I've
he
forgotten.
probably has a Caucasian wife. That's it.
No, he has a black wife.
Good. Get the name if you remember. So when I saw this, I don't really. I mean, I have jewelry, but I don't rock a lot of jewelry.
Yeah.
But I like to wear things from that represents Africa because I know
Okay.
I'm African
Yeah.
to my core. I just don't know what. Like I said, I can't break down one part. So when I saw this one, I was like, yo, this is something.
It's really good. It's really well knit. It has
And
like,
it's
the
funny because
quality.
I had a smaller one, and this trip I found a bigger one. So the
Yeah.
original one I got in last year. So this is actually new. So this one I've been wearing for the last maybe 3 weeks.
Okay.
But the prior one I had for a month.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like the quality. Like I said, I think it said it's double.
Yes.
And I like that I can't, which is, I have to bathe with it.
You
So I
can't,
can't really,
you can't remove it.
I can remove it, but
can't.
it takes like, I gotta like lotion myself up or use a plastic bag.
Yeah.
And it kind of identifies me, like how I wear my Trinity beads, like it'll be like another Trinidadian would know where this is from.
Yes.
And we'll be able to identify each other, and that's how we communicate.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, yo, being such a small island, we'll communicate each other that way. And what happened to me in Atlanta,
Yeah.
I was on a line at a pharmacy for some medical thing I was doing, or something I was picking up for maybe a relative or something like that. And the lady at counter was Kenyan, and she saw this, and she skipped me. She was like, "You come to the front." I was like,
Yes.
"She's like, me is like, yeah, come
Yeah.
to the front." She was like, "Oh, you're a Kenyan. You gotta tell me what tribe." I'm like, "No, I visited Kenya." And she was still very nice. She was still pleasant to me.
Yeah.
But she was so excited to see someone from her country, or
Yes.
someone that been to her country,
Yeah.
that instantly gave us a commonality. And I
Yeah.
think in places where we're the minority, so basically in America is like 17%, even though it might look different from media, 17% of the country is black. So 80% of the country is not black. Oh man,
70%.
17.
Oh, one. Oh,
17%. And of course, you might be on the East Coast, you might see a lot more melanin than usual. But in the country, out of 300 million people, it's only 17% are black.
Black.
And then even a splinter of that is what we consider black from, a black immigrant, being black from Africa, being black from the UK, being black from the Caribbean, etc. So a lot of times, some black Americans feel slighted when people who are citizens wear like other flags. It's not that we're trying to slight you. We're trying to communicate with people that are from, quote unquote, our tribe in particular. You know what I mean? So because we know so few of us, because compared to Trinidad, we're like 5 million people. Do you know how many people in Kenya?
Yeah.
How many?
Almost 45 million.
45 million. And you're looking at a country in America of like 300 million. So the odds of you finding someone,
It's very slim.
very slim.
Yeah.
So this is one of the reasons why I did this, because I wanted to communicate with other people that are Kenyan, that be like, hey, listen, I'm not Kenyan. Some people might consider me honorary Kenyan, or like you said before, people sometimes confuse me for Kenyan until I open my mouth.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like I like that.
People confuse you for Kenyan.
So they say.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they're because you know
Yeah.
it's hard to tell. You know, I'm a foreigner. They could just be G'ing me up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've been told this, and I take it as a compliment. Call me Kenyan. I'd be like, yeah, I'm Kenyan. So I like that I could communicate with them non-verbally by wearing something like this.
Yes. And the way you're saying, like, in Trinidad, you guys like you identify yourself with that bead. It's the same way with Kenyans. If anyone like is outside Kenya and you have this flag, everyone is going to identify you with this. Like it's like a sense of identity among us Kenyans, whether in Kenya or outside Kenya. Because even Czech was here last year, and I saw he also has like this bead. I think when you come here and then you interact with people here, they'll be like, you need to get that Kenyan flag on your hand. Yeah. So it's like a sense of, identity for us, which is a good thing. Yeah. So,
So I liked it. I saw it. I was like, I need one. I bought a couple. I bought some from some of my family members. So I like it. I think it's great.
it's good. It's really good.
If I find a bigger one, I'll buy a bigger one.
Just in case.
No, I just want it bigger. Yeah, I think the bigger it is, it looks more masculine that way because it's a little shiny. But I think because they're different. There's really small ones,
Yeah, they're small.
and there's ones that are like really thick, but
Yes.
they're harder to find.
Yeah.
But I find this is acceptable size for me.
Yeah, that's good. So concerning have you tried Kenyan food?
I'm not a fan. I'm gonna keep it real. However, I like how Kenyans do Western food.
Okay.
I think you do American food really well. I like how you do your burgers. I like how you do pizza. In most places, when you have a brick oven, I like how you do chicken. You do well done stuff. I went to the brunch this morning. I like how you cook it. I like the pork. Even though I don't eat pork as much. I like what is called choma.
Nyama choma.
Nama choma.
Yeah, nyama choma is burnt meat using charcoal.
See, well, you said burnt, so I like my meat crispy and well done. So that's probably why I liked it that much.
Okay.
So I like that. I don't like ugali. I'm sorry. I could keep that.
The nyama choma?
I like yamachoma,
Okay.
but I don't like ugali. That's like what is
the
it?
ugali.
Ugali.
Yeah.
I like chapati, which is kind of similar to roti, what we eat in Trinidad.
Okay.
Um,
What's
I
the difference between roti and chapati?
I think it's a lot, but I think it's bread. It's like a
The roti
flat
is
bread.
brighter.
No, it's bigger, has peas. It's made similar. The way you guys make it is basically flour, water, and salt.
Yeah.
You know, and it also comes from India, which I think with chapati might come from also. So it's just a lot bigger, and it comes with different assortments and stuff like that. You guys eat chapati by itself, right?
Yes.
So we usually eat roti with something.
Okay.
I mean, you could eat it by itself, but usually that's what we do. But it's similar texture, similar taste.
So why don't you like Kenyan food?
I wouldn't say Kenyan food. I think I need to be exposed more. But so
Or
far,
maybe you've not gone to really good restaurants that cook that kind of food.
so you have to remember this too. As someone that travels a lot, I kind of go on the era of caution. I'm probably saying that wrong, but
Okay.
I usually try to eat things that I'm familiar with.
Yes.
So things that I'm not too familiar with, I don't want the chance of getting sick because the
Yes.
worst thing is to be sick on a vacation.
Yeah.
So I try to keep things. I don't eat street food. So I have to go to a restaurant and I try to try things out. I don't like the wet chicken. What is it, wet fry?
Yeah.
I don't like that. So, but
Is it because of the flavors? Because I've had also a Jamaican who was here.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't like Kenyan food. You guys don't put in a lot of flavors, like not flavors, but the spices, the seasonings. We don't put a lot of that in our food. So it's like, nah, I don't like Kenyan food. You guys don't put a lot of seasoning. So maybe that could be a reason.
I can see why they say that.
Yeah.
Being from the Caribbean, we season our food a lot. Sometimes to a point where all we taste is the seasoning.
Is the seasoning.
So it could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
It could be a good thing. I think I just had at the brunch they gave me like, oh man, it was pork, chicken, beef, and everything together with vegetables. It's not with a Z. I don't know if you know the name of it, but they served that, and it's like with light barbecue sauce. But I could taste the flavor of the meat, which to me is a better flavor than in America. So I think being from the Caribbean, we're used to so much. We season everything. We
Yeah.
green season
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like I love jerk chicken from Jamaica, and it's highly seasoned. So I can see why they would complain of the lack of seasoning.
Yeah.
but I think it's just more like what you prefer.
You see, like here in Kenya, we love our food with very less like seasoning. And then coming from a very African home, like for me in my home, we don't use any spices at all, like any seasoning. It's just onions, tomatoes, and salt, and we're good to go. And most of the traditional homes they do that. And even for me personally, like I have those seasonings in my home, and they've stayed there like 2 years, and I've not even
Not
finished.
used it.
And they're so and even the sizes of the seasoning was like very little. So if it's like beans, I'd rather have the taste of the beans rather than the seasoning itself. I love the taste of the beans. I love the taste of the nyama, like the meat. I prefer like having the taste of the meat instead of having the seasoning. And for me, considering I don't love chicken, I feel like chicken does not have any taste at all.
That's where you gotta season it.
Yeah, so that's okay. I can eat chicken that is seasoned, but for meat, I love the taste of meat itself.
What's your favorite meat?
My favorite meal is fish. So
Okay.
if I just put fish and salt, I'm good to go. I'll eat it because it tastes nice
So
itself.
so
So
I'm
I don't want a lot of seasoning
so I'm gonna
because
press you. What's your favorite fish?
tilapia. What? Why is he laughing? Let's confirm it. Tilapia is the one that's most popular here.
I know, and it's
Yeah.
very bad because I
It's
feel
bad.
yeah because once you take your time and Google tilapia
Uh-huh.
and tell me what comes up,
Have you have you
because
gone to Kisumu?
what is that?
Kisumu is the western part of Kenya, like near the Lake Victoria.
Uh-huh.
I know here in Nairobi, there are people who like rear the tilapia in ponds. So the taste of the tilapia here might be lower compared to the one in
Okay,
Kisumu.
so
Yeah,
so widely in America, tilapia is kind of frowned upon because we
it's fed
know
up.
frowned. Like we don't eat it. Primarily, like if you do your Googling and research on it, you won't eat it because it's usually farmed. And
What do
what
you mean
they
formed?
farm mean like it's not caught in the wild.
Okay.
It's kind of like man-made to an extent. And when you Google or you research how they farm the tilapia, you may not want to eat the
Okay.
tilapia. And we
Okay.
understand because it's the most affordable fish.
Yeah.
So like for me in particular, I'm not a big seafood person, but I primarily eat something like red snapper, something like salmon, and I realize it's here, but it's not as prevalent.
Yes.
I find that everyone serves tilapia, and I'm like, I can't eat tilapia.
Yeah.
No offense to people that do, but I'm saying, man, if y'all do a Google and y'all see how they make it, and maybe they make it here different. I don't know if maybe you guys have wild
What
caught
do you mean
tilapia
make it like?
because the way that is farmed.
Like, are you meaning like the way it's being prepared?
No, the way that the
It's
fish are
being brought to
being
life.
yes, yes, it's very GMO. It's very engineered.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know,
So
so
one thing with tilapia is I know here in Nairobi, people bring it from Lake Victoria and then start rearing it in ponds. So the taste of the tilapia goes like it's not as good as the ones that are from the Lake Victoria. It's
and
so
why is that?
strong.
Because the Lake Victoria ones will be
Because
considered
no,
natural.
yeah, because now the fish is not in its natural environment.
I don't think tilapia has a natural environment, but
Oh
you guys
no.
could Google that
Okay, I will
and
need
double
to do
check
research on that. But it's the most popular fish
for
here.
sure.
Yeah, and also Nile perch. But Nile perch is normally very big. So you like
Is that the one with the black skin color?
no, that one is catfish, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, catfish is the one like it has some things here on the nose.
right. But what's the color of the one you're talking about? The night,
The Nile perch.
the Nile patch.
I'm not sure about the color, but one
Okay,
thing I know is that it's really big. I had my
okay.
dad say like it can even be bigger than a person. So
Wow.
so how we sell it here in Kenya, they sell it in small pieces. Yeah.
So it's rarely you get a whole Nile patch fish.
No, you can't. You can't. Even back at home, the local kiosk where you just go and buy for dinner, they sell it in small pieces at a cheaper price because you can't buy the whole of it. And then my dad was saying like, you see, the Nile patch, it originates from not lake, River Nile. That's why it's called Nile patch.
Gotcha.
Yes. So the colonialists were like removing it from River Nile and then bringing it to Lake Victoria. And then what happened is that the Nile patch was eating all the fish within the
Because it's an invasive species.
yes, yes, because it's big, and then these other fish are small. So I don't know. There's something that they need to try and control it, but there's a time like it will reach where it was just uncontrollable. They bring more Nile perch in Lake Victoria. They eat all the fish. Anyway, they came around, about it. But yeah, that's it. So the main fish here is tilapia and Nile perch. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you a question. So what tribe are you from?
I'm from Kisi.
Kisi. Okay.
Yeah.
Kisi is one of the smaller tribes, right?
Nah.
One of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kisi is bigger one, and then we are closer to the people on the lake. They're called Luos. The one who
The
are
Luas.
yeah, the
Okay.
one who are like surrounding Lake Victoria. So we are literally like neighbors. Yeah. So I'm from the western part of Kenya.
So being that last time I was here was during election, and
Last year August.
last year March actually was it August?
No, it was
When
no, it
when
was the
when,
other year.
when they was doing the demonstrations?
It was
When
last
it was
year.
like in Kibera, when there was
It was the other year because the elections were in 2021. Was it
well, I was
2021
no,
or
I was it had
2022?
to be last year. So I was here in 2023. The reason I bring it up is because I want to know, like some people from the West, they don't understand um, the different tribes, like tribalism. They don't understand that, or they misunderstand it. So for someone, to me, from my observation was on a day-to-day basis, I don't think people, and you can correct me, I don't think people care too much about what tribe you're from, but maybe during political season, people might care.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
Okay, so when it comes to tribalism, it is more prevalent when it comes to elections. That's the that's the only time that tribalism is really here in Kenya because you get that this tribe they want to produce their president, this one want to produce their president, and then this one they don't have a president. That's when tribalism is really prevalent here in Kenya. But on normal occasions, it's really not. But you can get a few. How is it? Was it called nepotism? No, it's not called nepotism.
What when they hire their own tribe?
Yes,
It's a form of nepotism
yeah.
where they're like, well, I know this person,
Uh-huh.
and in government, you kind of want to put people in power that you could trust.
Yes.
But I guess from the outlook, you're like, well, there's too many people of this tribe in the government,
Yeah.
and it may not be favorable to your tribe if they
Yes.
have a history.
Yes. You see, like right now, the way Ruto is the president,
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of Kalenjins because Ruto is Kalenjin. We have a lot of Kalenjins who are right now
In power.
in
Right.
power, in government. Same case with all farms here in Kenya. If they hear you're a Kisi, hey, and the manager is Kisi, you'll go in. A lot of people do that, but it's not as prevalent as the only time tribalism is a problem here in Kenya is during elections and the presidential seat only. These other things, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think some people in the West, they forget that tribalism is still, they think that tribalism is only in Africa. And I'm like, the Europeans have tribalism.
How?
You have Spain, you have the Spanish, you have the Portuguese, you have the French, Italian, the English. Those are all the same people.
Yeah.
It's different tribes.
Yes.
So they sometimes people misconstrue that tribalism is just in Africa. But like, no, it's the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of misconception. So it's like you have tribes that became countries.
Yeah.
Where in here, due to colonialism, the tribes are forced
Yes.
to become a country.
Yes.
So I think
Yeah.
that's something that needs to be pointed out.
That's very true. So anything else you need to say about Kenya or want to encourage someone to come here?
I would definitely recommend anyone from the diaspora to come. Anyone of melanin, anyone of African roots, any Black American, any person who considers themselves Black. Because another thing to me, Black is also a point of view.
Yeah.
So I would say if you consider yourself attached to Africa in any way, even if you're someone European, if you might consider, a Muzungu, whatever, still come to Kenya because you coming to Kenya, I think helps out Kenya's marketing, helps out Kenya's what do you call it? Economy. I think it helps out people traveling to Kenya. So I would encourage everyone. I think, kind of keep your Western habits a little bit in check.
Like what Western habits?
Because and I hate this too, being from, we're a little impatient. And I realize Westerners are sometimes easy to anger. And Kenyans are sometimes on what what we call in America CP time, which is color people time. Which color people time is better than what I would call island time.
Yeah.
But I think Kenyan time, y'all got it. Kenyan time is even worse. So
Has it happened to you before?
yes, I waited for a business meeting, by the way, for over 5 hours.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
happens
and
here
it's
a lot.
it's
You know,
common.
it's common. In fact, if you get mad, you're the one who has a problem.
Exactly. So exactly what she said. Keep your Western habits and culture in check a little bit. You're in Rome. Do what the Romans do
Yeah.
to an extent, but not everything I would say Kenya does right. So I think there's still room for improvement. So I think the more foreigners visit,
Yeah.
I think we can trade off the good things from the West and the good things from Africa, from Kenya, and merge it together. So I think I would encourage everyone to travel. Matter of fact, I encourage people to travel in general, but definitely Kenya because those three things: the convenience, the safety, the nightlife. I'm sure there's more, but I think for those three things, anyone could come in here. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, what happened to that business meeting? Did you leave? Did you
You know,
get
it's
mad?
funny. So the person I'm supposed to meet with sent a representative to meet with me.
And it was not supposed to
One,
be that way.
that person came an hour late anyway, hour and a half late. So my silly self went on time. So it's like it's 4 o'clock. They don't get there till 5:30. Fine. However, the person they sent, we end up clicking together so much that we had a good time. I didn't realize it was 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
The person I was supposed to meet, they come in at 10 o'clock. And one thing I realized with Kenyans, they do business at bars.
Yeah.
They do
Anywhere.
business in clubs, and they do business around entertainment. They do business around food,
Yes.
which I think is cool. And they came at 10 o'clock, and I left at 10:30. I was like,
It's
we gotta
a normal thing
reschedule,
here.
right? And they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, why
Yes.
are you leaving?
Yeah. Why are you mad? I mean, it's normal. Anyway. Oh, one
What's
one
up?
more question.
Ask away.
Have you gotten someone who has like tried to overprice you on something because of your accent?
Okay, so as a world traveler,
Yeah.
you're a foreigner, and I think in some countries, I would say most, even in Trinidad. Even in Trinidad, I may be considered a foreigner because I may appear, American. They will try you. They will tax you if they could. They will give you a price. And I started now. I actually started bringing my Kenyan friends along anytime I want to buy something.
Yeah.
Because I rather give them some money for their time than for someone to completely rip me off.
Yeah.
Or just if you're not a person that could haggle, because outside of the West, the price is negotiable. And even I learned that in Thailand, the price is negotiable. Even in Egypt, the price is negotiable.
Yeah.
So if you're not a person that's accustomed haggling, you may get turned off. Like one of my friends visited me from Atlanta, and we went to
Here in Kenya?
here in Kenya, and we went to a small Maasai market, and she just walked away
town?
in Westland.
Okay.
And I was like, nah, chill. You gotta negotiate. It's
Yeah.
okay. She's like, no, I don't want it anymore. And she
Yeah.
just shut down. She
Yes.
doesn't want to buy anything.
Yes.
So there is, like I said, there's some good and bad things. I think, Kenyans in general need to work on a better customer service. And it's because I think, in my opinion, that they try to hit you for everything one time. It's like, oh, I need to get as much money as I can from this person.
Yes.
Where I think the Western style is we want to treat you good so you keep coming back. We want repeat customers.
That speaks a lot because 2 weeks ago I had a Jamaican and we went to Masai Market in town. So the prices this person was telling to this guy, I'm like, so it's like, hold up, you stay there, let me stay here and negotiate with this person. And we like went almost halfway to what the prices like she was saying. So like you just stay there, let me say all these things are mine, let us negotiate on these prices. And it happened that way. But I know if you're a foreigner, especially if you're buying those, the Maasai things, these bead things, oh, they will overprice you.
So
They will.
so I was quoted this particular 1,600 shillings, right? So my thing now is, and I think you guys might use this too. If they tell you 16, negotiate 8 and below.
Yes.
Start at half and
Yes.
below.
Yes.
So I
That's
got
very
this.
true.
I got this down for 400, and I'm sure people are like, exactly. See, look at her face. Her face is like, you overpaid, right?
400.
But this is negotiating from 12.
So
You
did you
know,
pay 400 or what?
400 shillings for this. Yes,
Oh my God.
too
From
much.
1600?
From 1600. Which how much you would pay for this?
I wouldn't pay more than 500.
500 shillings.
Yes.
So I didn't do too bad.
Yeah.
I did 400.
Yeah. And then at times I'm like, when someone gives me a good service and I know like maybe you've done this thing with your hands, I'm like, let me just give you a little bit
Right.
more to appreciate you. Yeah. What? 16? Ah.
That's where they start. I got a Maasai blanket. The lady tried to charge me 2,000 shillings.
Uh-huh.
I just walked away.
They go for 800. They can't go more than
I
1,000.
I got it for 800, so I was happy I got it for
Yes.
800. But
So you negotiated also from 2,000 or you bought somewhere else?
see, it depends because like my Western habits kind of kick in,
Yeah.
and I feel disrespected when you try to give me too high of a price.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to negotiate no more because I'm at 800, you're at 2,000. The me in the middle is not even. I'm still getting beat in the head if I meet in the middle. So I wouldn't even want to really keep going with you, you know. So I totally get it, and I think you're gonna pay some foreign tax. Like, just
Yeah.
accept. I think just accept it. And I think, as far as my experience, another foreigner rip you off even more.
Yes.
I rather a Kenyan rip me off because I know like they may need it more than I do, and my goal is I felt comfortable paying, which is 400 shillings is it's almost like maybe $2, no more than $3
Yeah.
USD. I'm comfortable paying $3 USD for this. So if you're comfortable paying a certain price, I would say go ahead once you're okay with it.
Yeah.
But you should always try to negotiate. And then one thing I would add, it's a particular place, and don't let the Uber drivers tell you where to go. Don't let someone else dictate where to go. If you want to go somewhere, like I told the Uber driver to me to Maasai Market, and he takes me to this one in Golden some whatever it's called. It's in Karen, and they totally overpriced everything.
Yes.
So bad, I left a
Yes.
comment on it,
Yeah.
and I remember because the last time I was there, and they got one of my friends, and he paid 50 US for some trinket that I told him would have cost him $5. So he paid $10 the amount. So I would say just be careful. Don't let if you want to go somewhere, don't let the cab driver change your mind because also not only did he take you to a place that's more further, I believe they may have some type of system where he brings customers in, they give him something on the side, and then the same cab driver tried to charge me 2,500 shillings to take me back.
So guys, that was a long interview. What happened is my phone went off. The microphone went off. I think we talked and talked and talked. We even realized like the phone is off and we're still talking. So that was it about vlogging, tripping, and his experience here in Kenya. And before the phone could come back up and we continue with the interview, we couldn't. But he's coming back in Kenya this year. We're hoping he will. And if he will, we'll definitely hear more of his experiences back here in Kenya. Squad, thank you so much for always following and watching my videos and always engaging below. I will see you on the next one. Turus. Bye bye.